Look at your cat for a second. Do you really think you own it? Sure. You buy the food. You clean the litter box. You pay the vet bills. But your cat? It walks around your house like you're the guest. And here's the crazy part. It might actually be right. Because unlike dogs, cats were never truly domesticated by humans. In fact, scientists believe something far stranger happened. Cats chose us. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Why would one of the world's most independent predators choose to live with humans? To answer that, we need to go back nearly 10,000 years, back before cities, before skyscrapers, before kingdoms, back when humans had just made one decision. That would accidentally change the lives of cats forever. They stopped moving. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived as hunters and gatherers. If food disappeared, they moved. If winter came, they moved. But then, everything changed. People started farming. For the first time, humans weren't just finding food, they were growing it. Huge fields of wheat, barley, and other crops. It was one of the greatest inventions in history. At least, it seemed that way. Because as the harvest grew, so did something else. Mice. Thousands of them. Imagine spending months growing enough food to feed your family, only to wake up and find tiny bite marks everywhere. Every sack of grain became an all-you-can-eat buffet. The more food humans stored, the more mice arrived. And where there's a feast, someone eventually notices. A small, silent, golden-eyed hunter. The African wildcat. Back then, it wasn't cute, it wasn't cuddly, and it definitely wasn't sleeping on someone's couch. It lived alone, hunted alone, and trusted absolutely no one. If it spotted a human, it usually disappeared before you even noticed it. But these villages were different. Every night, the cats crept closer, not because they liked people, because they liked mice. Think about it. A normal wildcat might spend hours searching for one meal. Now, hundreds of mice were practically waiting outside. For a predator, this was paradise. So every night, the cats came. Quietly, carefully, always staying just far enough away from humans. And something interesting started happening. The farmers noticed there were fewer mice. Their grain lasted longer. The mysterious little hunters weren't stealing food. They were protecting it. Without saying a single word, humans and cats had made a deal. The cats got unlimited hunting. The humans lost fewer crops. Nobody signed a contract. Nobody planned it. It just worked. But here's what makes this story so unusual. When humans domesticated dogs, we chose them. We bred the friendliest wolves, generation after generation, until they became loyal companions. Cats? Nobody bred them. Nobody trained them. Nobody even tried. Instead, the cats made the first move. The ones that could tolerate humans without running away. Found more food, lived longer, raised more kittens, and those kittens inherited the same fearless attitude. Little by little, the boldest cats stayed. The shy ones disappeared back into the wild. Without realizing it, humans weren't changing the cats. The cats were changing themselves. And over the next few thousand years, that simple relationship would spread across the entire world. But the biggest twist was still waiting. Because one civilization wouldn't just appreciate cats, they would worship them. And from that moment on, cats would never leave human history again. That partnership worked so well, it didn't stay in one village. It spread from one farming community to the next, then across entire civilizations. But no one embraced cats quite like ancient Egypt. To the Egyptians, cats weren't just helpful, they were priceless. Because every year, the Nile River flooded the land, leaving behind rich soil that produced enormous harvests. More grain meant more food. More food meant more mice. And more mice meant one thing. Cats became the protectors of an entire civilization. Before long, people weren't just tolerating them, they were welcoming them. Some families treated them like members of the household. If a family's pet cat died, they would mourn for days. Some even shaved off their eyebrows as a sign of grief. Imagine loving your pet so much that everyone around you could tell you were grieving just by looking at your face. Cats had gone from wild hunters to symbols of protection, even gods. But here's what's fascinating. Even after thousands of years living beside humans, cats never became like dogs. Think about a chihuahua. Now think about a wolf. They look so different. You'd hardly believe they're related. Now compare your house cat to an African wildcat. The difference? It's surprisingly small. In fact, if you saw one in the wild, you might not even notice. That's because humans never spent thousands of years breeding cats to herd sheep, pull sleds, or guard homes. We didn't need to. Cats were already perfect at the one job we wanted them to do: catch mice. So while dogs changed to fit our lives, cats mostly stayed the same. That's why your cat still does some pretty strange things. Ever seen it suddenly sprint across the house for no reason? Or stare at a blank wall for 10 minutes? Or crouch behind the couch before pouncing on your feet? It isn't being weird, at least, not by cat standards. It's practicing. Every jump, every chase, every silent step is behavior its ancestors used to survive. Your living room is just its hunting ground now. Then there's another mystery. Why does your cat bring you a dead mouse? Or a bird? Or sometimes a toy? Most people think it's a gift. Others think it's a warning. But many scientists have another idea. In the wild, mother cats bring injured prey back to their kittens, not to feed them, to teach them how to hunt. So when your cat drops something at your feet, it might be looking at you and thinking, "This human still doesn't know how to catch food. I'd better help," which is both adorable and slightly insulting. Then there's purring. Most people think cats only purr when they're happy. And yes, sometimes they do, but they also purr when they're frightened, when they're injured. Even while giving birth, scientists still don't know exactly why. One theory is that those gentle vibrations may actually help calm the cat, and even promote healing. Imagine having your own built-in recovery system. Nature is full of surprises, which brings us back to the question we started with. Why did cats choose humans? The answer wasn't love. Not at first. It wasn't loyalty either. It was opportunity. Humans accidentally built the perfect place for a predator. The cats that weren't afraid of us found endless food. They survived. They had kittens. And over thousands of years, those kittens became the cats we know today. It wasn't humans chasing cats. It was cats realizing life was simply easier with us around. Today, there are more than 600 million pet cats around the world. They live on every continent except Antarctica. Some spend their days hunting toys. Others sleep in sunny windows. Most act like they own the house. And maybe, after everything they've done for us, they've earned that right. Because 10,000 years ago, a hungry wildcat wandered into a farming village, looking for a mouse. It had no idea. It was making one of the smartest decisions in the history of evolution. And thousands of years later, your cat is probably asleep on your couch, completely unaware that its ancestors chose humans, long before humans ever chose them.